YouTube, what's going on? Witty P dropping in one time. We're gonna talk some boxing. We got a big weekend coming up. Yes! Oh, we got a big weekend, some great fights, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna cover my breakdown prediction for Shakur Stevenson Zepeda fight. You know, we got Sabril Matias on the card versus Puello. We got Edgar Berlanga on the card versus Shiraz. We got David Morrell on the card. Oh, it's a great card. I'm looking forward to it. But Shakur Stevenson and Williams Zepeda, great fight. And these guys were rumored to fight, you know, early this year, late last year. You know, these two been linked with each other, and it's perfect time. You know, it's the perfect time. And Williams Zepeda, he come in 33-0, 27 KOs, and Shakur Stevenson, he 23-0, 11 KOs. So perfect time. Both of these guys are at the, you know, a good spot in their career, and they both have a lot to prove. Shakur Stevenson, he has to get back into the fan favorite, you know, as far as like mixing it up and, you know, showing the fans, you know, he wants to box. Still be himself, but really show the fans, you know, he'll engage. He wants to box, you know, get in favor of the fans. And Williams Zepeda, he got to show that he can really be the fighter, the A-level fighter. A lot of people question his performance against Tevin Farmer, you know, both of those fights. So, yes, both of these guys have a lot to prove. And I'll start with Shakur Stevenson, some of his, you know, keys to victory in this fight and what he needs to do to come out on top. And Shakur Stevenson, he's a southpaw. Williams Zepeda, he's also a southpaw. Shakur Stevenson, he has to keep the distance, what he's already great at. Keep the distance and work off the jab. And Shakur Stevenson, he just has to let his hands go and be patient. And I say be patient because Williams Zepeda, he's known for throwing a lot of punches in the round. He is. So Shakur Stevenson, he doesn't have to match that. What he has to do, has to be selective with his punches. You know, when he see opening, counter. You know, when Zepeda is getting wild, you know, jab. You know, keep him at bay. Keep the distance. And Shakur Stevenson, he has to sit down on his punches. And in order to slow Williams Zepeda down, he's going to have to go to that body. Be patient and go to that body early. You may have to take some to give some in this fight. You know, takes a couple early just to, you know, deliver some body shots. You know, but Shakur Stevenson, he has to be patient because Williams Zepeda, he's going to try to, you know, speed up this pace. You know, he's going to try to speed up the pace and try to overwhelm Shakur Stevenson. So Shakur Stevenson, he doesn't have to match that energy. He can match it in his own way by being selective with his punches, going to the body, slowing him down, you know, and working off that jab. Don't let this fight, always keep control of the fight by working off that jab. And Shakur Stevenson, he's great at keeping his distance. So that's what Shakur Stevenson has to do. He has to, you know, be patient, be selective with his punches, go to that body. You know, anytime he got to open a shot to that body, he has to go to that body to slow Williams Zepeda down. And he got to mix it up at times. You know, he's gonna have to swim and get wet. A lot of times Shakur Stevenson like to swim without getting wet. You know, we've seen that, you know, in the past where he can swim without getting wet. And what I mean by that, he can kind of maybe, you know, be in the pocket and not get hit, or he may, you know, be more so using his legs. So he's gonna get wet in this fight. Pause. You're gonna have to be in the pocket and maybe take a few shots to get inside and really deliver some of your blows that you really want to deliver and really sit down on the punches. So that's the key for Shakur Stevenson. You know, work that body, be patient, be selective with your punches, and work that jab to keep control of the fight, because the jab will also keep Shakur Stevenson distance as well. It will also keep his distance. Shakur Stevenson is great at keeping distance. You know that? Shakur Stevenson is great at keeping distance. That's why a lot of fighters, they can very rarely get just a flush, clean shot on Shakur Stevenson, because he's great at keeping the distance. And the keys for Williams Zepeda, yes, Williams Zepeda, he has to kind of, if he can, make this a fast-paced, kind of erratic fight, you know? Because Shakur Stevenson, he likes to be composed. He wants to be patient. That's why I say Shakur Stevenson has to be patient, because he has to be himself. He's looking for shots. You know, Shakur Stevenson, he's always looking for shots. So William Zepeda, he has to kind of make this erratic. You know, he has to, what William Zepeda really has to do, he has to throw flurries. He has to throw flurries. He has to throw flurries. He has to stay active. He has to outlast Shakur. Because I don't think he'll knock Shakur Stevenson out. So he has to outland him. He has to outwork him, basically. Outwork him. And he has to throw flurries, combinations, William Zepeda. He has to. He has to. He got to throw flurries, combinations. You know, and make this kind of a fast-paced fight that he wants to make. Because William Zepeda, he can throw over what, close to 100 punches in a round, something like that. So he has to make this a fast-paced, erratic fight, and it'll favor him if he can turn the fight into that type of pace where it's erratic and he throw flurries and, you know, and they're moving around. You know, and they're center of the ring. You know, they're everywhere. You know, William Zepeda got to make this a muddy fight. You got to make this a muddy fight. You know, where they center the ring, moving around. You know, just staying active, landing the flurries. He got to stay on Shakur. He got to stay on Shakur. He has to. You got to stay on Shakur. Even though Shakur, he's comfortable fighting on the back foot or just, you know, using different angles, he got to stay on him. He got to overwhelm Shakur Stevenson. That's his best bet in this fight. He has to overwhelm Shakur Stevenson with flurries, with combinations. But ultimately, I think the better boxer will win. The ring generalship will prevail in this fight, which I think Shakur Stevenson has the edge. He has the ring generalship. You know, he's going to keep the distance. He's going to box. He's going to keep this at his pace. You know, that's one thing about a great fighter. He's always going to keep the fight at his pace. They can always dictate the pace of the fight. You know, and I think Shakur Stevenson will do that. He'll dictate the pace. You know, he'll fight it at his pace. He'll be selective with his punches to make William Zepeda think twice about, you know, throwing certain punches. You know, because you know, you throw that overright hook, you gonna have a hook coming to the body. You know, something like that, or uppercut. You gotta, you know, be selective to know if I make a mistake, I know he coming with a counter. You know, so I think the better boxer will win. Shakur Stevenson, you know, he has a lot to prove, and I think you'll see one of his better performances, similar to like we saw against Oscar Valdez, you know, a few years back. I think we'll see that. Shakur Stevenson locked in, you know, focused, because he's been facing a lot of doubters, you know, as far as like, does he really want to, you know, mix it up? Do he really want to box? You know, do he want to swim without getting wet all the time? So we'll see, though. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'll, you know, be coming with these breakdowns, these predictions, a lot of big fights coming up. So I'm looking forward to it, though. But lay something down in the comments. Who y'all got winning this fight? Comment, like, subscribe. That's where you help, you know, share the video. If you're entertained, hit that cash up, baby. We're going to talk some boxing. This is what I do. I'm going to knock another one out. Bow, bow, bow. Let's get it.